everybody needs a best friend, and Ted is one of the best friends I think I've ever seen on screen. What do you think it is about this creation of Seth's that has struck such a chord with audiences?
For me, the core of this whole franchise really is this friendship between John and Ted. I mean, that I think makes everything they do sort of more likable. And I think, as you go through life, you want a friend, and I think everyone relates to that. So I think that's kind of what has made it so relatable.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because he sort of is an id, but at the same time, his heart is in the right place, and because I think it is at its core a friendship, it somehow is it's easier to sort of root for and believe in, because obviously Ted has some horrible advice and some horrible guidance for this guy, especially now that we're dealing with a teenager, but it's all coming from a good place, and that I think that's part of what the charm is.
One of the great things about the original movie was the technology was so good. I think people, when they saw the trailers, were kind of like, "Oh, does it going to work?" But the technology is so good now that it's almost like Seth is coming through Ted, and he's able to do all the motion capture and stuff. What's it like for you guys when you write all these things and then you see him performing?
Yeah, it's a surreal process because we've obviously made a lot of television, but not a lot of CGI, and not a lot of CGI with Seth in this way. So like when you're filming, a lot of times you're filming an empty frame, of course, because Ted is going to be there, but Seth is 4 feet to your left at a microphone pretending to be Ted. So you hear Ted's voice and he's doing all the motions, but there's an empty frame. So it is a little surreal. It's a fun thing to be a part of. And then, even rewinding a little bit before we even wind up on the set, he's in the writer's room the whole time. So in a way, Ted is there too, and of course he's pitching in the voice, because why wouldn't he? So you kind of get a very early indication of what things are going to sound and look like.
Yeah, and it's also, one of the great sort of discoveries for me was watching the other cast work with Seth, because he is there on set, but he's not where Ted is or is going to wind up being. So the cast really was, I think, remarkable at playing off of Seth, even though he's not right in front of them. It was impressive.
Has this experience given you, if you didn't have it already, a newfound or an improved appreciation of the brilliance of Flash Gordon? Because it was such a big thing in the first film, and it obviously carries through into the series now. And Seth seems to have this great appreciation for this film, and I do as well. I mean, I don't, in the UK, it seems to be a huge thing. Where do you sit on the cult?
That's really our main goal, is just to get the word out there about what a great film it is. I mean, Seth. I mean, we have some of this. Seth has an encyclopedic knowledge of movies from that time, especially those type of movies. So, and the writer's room as well. So that's a fun environment to be in, with people who just really have a lot of cultural references to bring to the scripts.
Yeah, and anything we can do to help make the New York Jets look good, we're willing to do.
I know a little bit about the New York Jets. I did want to say, I don't know if it was you who did it, who put the Darkman poster in the room, because I thought that's genius. That's like a film that no one talks about, but is brilliant.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Seth certainly signed off on that. That was a process of it actually is sort of an elaborate and tedious process of figuring out there's a bunch of things you want to put on the wall in that room, and then there's things you can and cannot because of licensing and all sorts of agreements. Yeah. But that's really how that evolved. But Seth was the final approval on that. Yes.
I love Darkman. What a underrated classic crazy film that is, with Liam Neeson. Guys, I love the show. I love everything about Ted. So very, very pleased to have seen some. So thank you so much for your time. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey you guys.
Hey you guys.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey you guys.
Hey you guys.